Hey everyone, welcome back to Smart English Podcast. I'm Mia.
And I'm Alex. It's great to have you with us today. You know, we often talk about everyday topics, but there's one that comes up almost every time you meet someone new, especially when traveling or making new friends.
You're absolutely right, and that's exactly what we're diving into today. How to confidently talk about your job and work in simple, natural English. It's a fundamental part of getting to know someone, isn't it?
Totally. Before we get started with all the helpful phrases and tips, a quick favor. Don't forget to subscribe to Smart English Podcast, like this episode, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future lessons. It really helps us out.
So, why do you think talking about jobs is such a common conversation topic across cultures?
Well, I think it's because our work, or what we do, often defines a big part of who we are, right? It's how we spend a lot of our time, and it gives people an idea of our interests, our skills, and even our lifestyle. When you meet someone, what do you do is just a very natural, almost universal way to start understanding them better.
That makes a lot of sense. But for English learners, I've noticed it can sometimes feel a bit nerve-wracking to talk about their work. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, it totally can be. I think a big reason is that people worry about using the right vocabulary or explaining complex job responsibilities in a simple way. Maybe they think their job isn't interesting enough to talk about, or they're afraid of making grammatical mistakes when describing daily tasks. It's also a topic that can feel quite personal, so the pressure to articulate it well is higher.
Absolutely. So, what exactly are we going to help our listeners achieve today?
Today, we're going to break it all down. We'll give you simple, useful phrases to describe your job, your daily tasks, and your work schedule. We'll also share some handy vocabulary, practical tips, and even a mini dialogue to help you feel much more comfortable and natural when this topic comes up. You'll learn how to keep it simple, clear, and confident.
All right, let's jump right into the core phrases. First up, talking about your actual job. What's a simple, straightforward way to state what you do?
The easiest way, and one of the most common, is I work as a, followed by your job title. For example, I work as a teacher. It's direct, clear, and everyone understands it. You can also just say, I'm a teacher.
So if I'm, say, an engineer, I'd say I work as an engineer, or I'm an engineer. Simple as that. What if someone is still studying?
Excellent point. If you're a student, you simply say, I'm a student. No need to complicate it. You could add, I'm a university student or I'm a high school student if you want to be more specific, but I'm a student is perfectly fine on its own.
And what about describing the general location or industry of your work without being too specific about the title?
For that, you can use I work in an office, or I work in a hospital, or I work in the IT industry. This tells people the environment or sector you're in. It's really useful if you have a job title that might be hard to explain quickly, or if you just want to keep it general. Like, I work in marketing is common, even if your specific title is digital content creator.
Great. Now, once you've said what you do, people often want to know a little more about what your day looks like. How can we describe daily tasks simply?
Absolutely. We want to avoid jargon here. A fantastic phrase is, I answer emails. This is a very common task for many people, and it's easy to understand. It's a good example of a simple, everyday action.
Right. So instead of saying I manage electronic correspondence, just I answer emails. Perfect. What else?
Another really common one is I work with people. This is broad, but tells a lot. It implies teamwork, client interaction, or customer service. If you're a salesperson, a nurse, or a project manager, you probably work with people a lot. It's a great way to describe a social aspect of your job.
And for those of us glued to our screens.
Oh, definitely. I use a computer a lot. It's super common in today's world. If your job involves anything from coding to graphic design, writing, or even just data entry, this phrase is perfect. It's simple, clear, and relates to so many modern jobs. You could also say, I spend a lot of time on the computer.
Okay, so we've covered the job itself and daily tasks. What about the work schedule? How do we talk about whether we work full-time or part-time?
These are crucial phrases. If you work a standard number of hours per week, usually around 35 to 40 hours, you say, I work full-time. It means it's your main job.
And if you work fewer hours,
Then you'd say, I work part-time. This means you work fewer hours than a full-time job. Maybe you have another job, or you're studying, or you have other commitments. Both full-time and part-time are very common and easily understood terms.
what about the growing trend of working from home?
Ah, yes, a very modern phrase. If you do your job from your house, you say, I work from home. It's that simple. Many companies now allow or even require employees to work from home, so it's a very relevant phrase to know.
So, someone could say, I work full time from home as a graphic designer, combining a few of those phrases.
Exactly. You can mix and match to give a fuller picture, but always start with the simpler elements.
All right, let's put some of these phrases into action with a mini dialogue. Imagine you're at a casual get together, meeting someone new.
Sounds good. I'll be Liam and you can be Sarah.
Okay, I'm Sarah. Hi, Liam. Nice to meet you. So, what do you do?
Hi, Sarah. Nice to meet you too. Well, I work as a software developer. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, that sounds cool. What kind of things do you do day to day?
Mainly, I write code, for new apps. I also work with people a lot, collaborating with my team, and of course, I use a computer a lot.
I bet. Do you work full time?
Yeah, I work full-time, and actually, I work from home most days, which is really nice.
That's great. It sounds like you have a good setup.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. What about you, Sarah?
Okay, short and sweet. What did you notice about that conversation?
What I loved is how natural it was. You use simple questions like, what do you do? And what kind of things do you do day to day? And Liam, my character, used all those simple phrases we just talked about. I work as a software developer. I write code. I work with people. I use a computer a lot. I work full-time. And I work from home. No complex vocabulary needed to have a clear, engaging conversation about work.
Perfect example. Now, let's quickly touch on a few key vocabulary words that often come up when discussing work. First, coworker. What's a coworker?
A coworker is simply a person you work with, someone who shares your workplace or company. So you might say, I had lunch with my coworkers yesterday. It's more common and natural than saying colleague in everyday conversation.
Got it. So your team members are your coworkers. How about schedule?
Schedule refers to a plan of times when certain things will happen. For work, it means your working hours, your meetings, or your tasks for the day. You might say, my work schedule is Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or I have a busy schedule this week. It's essentially your timetable.
Very clear. And finally, salary.
Salary is the money you earn for your work, typically paid monthly or annually. It's often used when talking about your income from a steady job. For example, my salary helps me pay for my rent and food. It's what you get paid for doing your job.
Excellent. Now, before we wrap up, let's give our listeners some really practical tips to make these conversations even smoother. First tip, keep your answers simple.
This is so important. Don't feel pressured to explain every single detail of your job or use complex industry terms. Start with the most basic information. I'm a nurse is much better than I'm a registered healthcare professional specializing in critical care. The goal is clear communication, not showing off complex vocabulary.
Absolutely. Next, use basic job titles.
Yes, stick to well-known titles whenever possible. If your official title is something very specific like Synergy Optimization Specialist, try to simplify it to something like I work in project management or I help teams work better together. Most people won't understand very niche titles, and it can make the conversation awkward.
Great advice. And for those who worry about making mistakes, don't worry about perfect grammar.
This is a big one. It's okay if your sentences aren't absolutely perfect. The most important thing is to communicate your message. People appreciate your effort to speak English. A small mistake won't stop them from understanding you. Focus on getting your message across, not on perfection.
Finally, and this is a great way to keep the conversation going, ask follow-up questions.
Definitely. A conversation is a two-way street. After you answer a question about your job, turn it back to the other person. You can ask, what about you? What do you do? Or, how long have you been doing that? This shows interest and keeps the dialogue flowing naturally. It takes the pressure off you to keep talking and makes the interaction much more enjoyable for everyone.
Those are truly valuable tips. I think our listeners are much better equipped now to talk about their jobs.
I hope so. It really just comes down to practice and using those simple phrases.
Exactly. So if you enjoyed this lesson and found it helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to Smart English Podcast, like this video, and share it with a friend who is also learning English. Your support really helps us create more content like this for you.
We love hearing from you too, so feel free to leave a comment below telling us what your job is using some of the phrases you learned today. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye for now.